this doesn't make a noise. I don't know. I've never used a timer on my watch before.
It probably will. It's all right. Whatever.
It probably make a noise.
Like beep beep. What that's just food in the microwave, guys. We did not eat breakfast.
Yeah. Guys, welcome to ISO Insiders. Which is what, episode 8?
I don't even remember. All I know is the first episode of 2025.
2025. We're back, y'all. We're
back in the studio.
Yeah. It's, we started this in the middle of the holidays where we all have, obligations. It's like, a lot was going on.
Families, other gigs and stuff like that. So.
Right. So we get busy and stuff like that. We are a working studio, so.
But we did make it past episode 7, and you know what they say about podcasts?
Right, they fail after.
They normally fail.
Yeah,
right
7.
after episode 7. So we're already doing better than the majority of them out there.
Yeah, I think this is episode 8. I don't know. I don't remember.
We can check later.
We'll check later. But so maybe we're there or we're just over the cusp. I don't know.
How's your vacation, bro?
Pretty good. I'm actually still on vacation.
Oh, aren't you lucky?
I don't go back to work until like the next couple of days or so. But overall, pretty good. Mm-hmm. How's the year's been so far?
I mean, listen, it was a little slow at first, but then last night had to do a big power shoot. Had a lot of gorgeous women running around, scantily clad apparently. And you know what? Fun story. I packed a whole lot of equipment. I came yesterday to the studio, picked it up, got to the house. I took my bag inside, being paranoid for some reason, with the cameras in it. Got dressed up with Chris, left, made it all the way down to Queens FD studio, parked up, only to find out I left the cameras at home. I left the cameras at home, bro. I was about to do a little U-turn and just drive right back home and just call it a night and eat some popcorn. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go upstairs and just say hi to everybody and then bounce. And then when I got up there, I was like, you know what? I probably could just shoot everything on my phone because I've done shoots on my phone before. My phone is nice. I got the S24 Ultra. I was about to make it work.
Yeah.
And then I remember when I was working at an old car company, an EV company, we used to ship plates back and forth using Lyft. So I called Stephanie, my wife, and was like, yo, can you put my camera bag in a Lyft? Waited 45 minutes. And I just tracked my freaking... No, it wasn't even packaged. Just my book bag took a Lyft.
Yeah, no, it's a package. It's like a package delivery. Yeah,
it was.
Uber does it. Yeah.
Uber has it. Lyft does not. So I had to book it as a regular ride. I just put it as a note in there and say, hey, you're bringing my book bag.
Okay.
And I had to wait 45 minutes. But, I made it work. The models loved it. Got some great shots. You know what? And... modern problems require modern solutions, so I made it work. So that's what's up. It was adventurous last night, but
that works. That works. But anyway, this episode is like first episode of the new year as a special one because we have a guest with us.
You,
Mr. Gil. Sorry, I don't know your last name, Gil. I'm sorry. What's your last name?
Dormeus.
Dormian?
No.
Dormeus,
sir.
Dormeus. Oh, okay. Sounds like a character out of Warhammer. I feel like.
Gil Dormeus, the barbarian.
Yo, matter of fact, he got the voice. He could be one of those characters right now. It could be a Space Marine, right there.
You know about Space Marines, man?
Oh, bro.
Lord, don't get.
Bro, I'm a huge Warhammer fan, bro. I'm a
huge
Warhammer fan. Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Don't even. I'm over there playing Space Marines 2 right now on Xbox. So don't even get me started.
Yeah. So welcome, Gil. We appreciate you. He's pretty much calling in from Florida. While we're freezing in New York.
Oh, what's the temperature down there, bro?
It's kind of cold here. So it's like 50 something degrees because we're getting that cold front as well.
Kind of. Hold on, kind of cold. Let me check the temperature.
I think we got 20s.
It gotta be 20s right now. Hold on, let me see.
So right
29.
This morning I went for a run. I ran like 4 miles and it was 53 degrees. So it was pretty chilly, and chilly. It was by the beach, so windy. And the thing I tell people all the time is like, Florida isn't cold, right? It's pretty hot, but we do have more moisture and more humidity. Mm-hmm. So it's like, even if it gets colder, it's more colder because it's a lot more moisture in the air versus like New York or wherever else where it's more dry. So that's like the most annoying thing when I tell people, oh my gosh, it's super cold. No, it's not snowing. But dude, there's like so much moisture in the air that we just feel it. And it's windy. I live by the beach, so it's just constant wind every single time.
I give you props for saying that you did a 4-mile run. I'm trying over there just to get a regular mile run.
You got to get it in, man. I run with a run group. It's called We Run on Sundays. It's a group. It's like almost like an accountability thing, and I do content for it. So it's like, all right, I'm coming in there every day, every Sunday at 6 a.m. and we run, and I take photos, videos, and then I get my workout in, and then I could do a podcast like this, and then do gigs. So it's like it's
a full day.
I got to do it, man.
6 a.m. is crazy.
That is a full day right there.
I used to do actually runs at whenever I drop Stephanie at the train station in the morning, because she got to take like the 6 in the morning train. So what I used to do was actually do like little walks around the park by me, or do runs around that whole track. But because the track doesn't even open as early, it opens at 7, and I'm there at 6. I got to walk outside the track.
Oh,
so I have been motivated lately to do that, because I'm tired of having to dodge cars. I want to actually go on the actual track, but by the time I make it back home inside toasty and warm, I'm like, I'm over it. I don't even do it anymore. I need to.
That's a lot, but yeah, it's Gil. Thank you for being here. For just introduce you to the folks. Like, Gil is a studio owner in Florida.
Ooh, part of the club.
Yeah, if you're trying to do podcast stuff or just like I would say production work in Florida, hit him up, man. It's like that's a. He does. I think he does pretty good quality stuff. He uses your favorite cameras, Sony's.
My ecosystem of choice.
Yes.
But the crazy thing is, I'm not a Sony shooter. I still consider myself a Nikon guy, even though I have a bevy of Sony cameras. My heart still bleeds Nikon gold.
So what do you shoot photography with?
Sony A7 IV.
All right. So what do you use the Nikon for?
So the Nikon for me, I have the Nikon D750. Ooh. That's more so like my backup photography camera, and I really love the dynamic range on that camera.
Okay,
it's really high, and the photos to me look more realistic, and they're less sharp compared to the Sony A7 IV. And it's so weird, even for video. What I have a YouTube channel, and the videos that I have shot with my Sony A7 IV or A7C compared to my Nikon D750 look better, and I've gotten way more compliments on my look and the lighting and my setup versus the Sony. Like I'll make a tutorial about green eggs and ham on the D750 and like a 30 comments is like, yo, this looks so good. What is this? What camera are you using? The Sony, great information, bro. I love the video. I love your dialogue. Awesome points. But then the Nikon, they're like, what are you shooting with? What is that? It is just a really nice, soft, not too sharp, not artificial look. And I love it.
I need to check out these videos, because at the same time, you know what it could also be? Lens choice.
Yeah.
So the lens choice, obviously, yes. The lens I was using was a 50mm f1.4 lens, but it's just the glass. The coating on the lens is probably a little bit better, and it's dated. I use older Nikon lenses versus the new super sexy Sony cameras and the Sony lenses with all their super sharp glass, and it just looks great. But when you put an older glass on your camera, it does something to the eye. It makes it, especially us old folks, we right. Like I remember one time I did a photo shoot. I was doing a photo shoot, and I threw like petroleum jelly on my lens.
Yep.
And then the client was like, whatever you did, that was amazing. The photo looks great. And I'm like, yeah, I just made it more blurry. But for us, we just love nostalgia. And it's like anything like out of focus photos and videos now are kind of coming back.
Yeah,
for some reason.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So it's funny.
Weird.
It's funny that you said that, because as soon as you talk about the Nikon D750, I was thinking about lens choices, like I said, and I actually have an older lens back from World War II, apparently in Russia or Ukraine. I don't remember which one.
The Helios 4422.
Yes.
I have that.
Same lens. And I have the adapter for it, and I haven't shot with it in a while. I was just like, I should probably throw that bad boy. Yep. I have that right over there in that cabinet. And I was like, I need to throw that on there and take try some shoots with it, because that's a nice vintage look with it.
Yeah.
The only thing is you have to, it's manual focus, so you gotta sit there ready to take your time and really,
It's
Okay.
manual focus. It's manual focus and it also has lots of radiation. So if we own it, we all have cancer. Like
It is
it's
straight out
it's
of Chernobyl. No, I'm kidding. No.
straight out.
I'm kidding. It's
No, I mean, I
probably.
remember reading like about the lens and being so super excited and watching maybe Caleb Pike and a few other creators. And I bought the lens, and then I went on Reddit. Hey guys, if you guys bought this lens, you guys gotta demagnetize it or de-radiationize it or whatever. I'm like, why? Yeah, this thing probably been through war and has like radiation. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well,
Bought this on eBay for like $12 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
I bought mine back in like 2018, 2019, somewhere around there, and I used it a few
Probably
times.
around the time. Yeah,
And I got some good footage out of it, but it's been so long. I've been so hung up on these on the newer lenses like Tamron. I've been really rocking my Tamron lenses. I got a Sigma 30mm 1.4 for crop sensor that's really friggin' sharp and beautiful for video. So like I've been really hung up on those lenses, and like right now I was talking to my boy today, like I really want to get that the Tamron 35 to 150 f2 to f2.8. I rented it once for a wedding. Gorgeous glass. Gorgeous piece of glass. And I got so many compliments on those. But there is something to be said about that vintage look that's just giving you that sense of nostalgia where it's just like it's a dreamy atmosphere. Now, technically, you could do that with like a black mist filter. I've done that just to take off the sharpness a little bit.
I literally just bought a few black mist filters and also just bought me a small rig. What do you call that? The light box thing, the matte box. And I bought the glass, so it's like a quarter black mist glass that I'm going to put over the matte box.
Yeah.
Wanted to trying to be more cinematic with my A7 IV, kind of take advantage of it because I do kind of feel like I'm not using it to its fullest potential. Like at this very moment, I'm using it, but I'm using it in auto mode. It's not auto mode, but auto white balance, no picture profile. It's just good to go. Like all my whole lighting setup, I have 1, 2, 3, really like 4 lights on in my studio, and all the colors, they're great. The color is great, but I feel like I can probably take it up a notch if I kind of like started shooting with maybe S-Log 2. But there's a lot of things that happen in photography world where clients don't bother.
No.
Why not? Clients, I shoot podcasts all the time. No client has ever told me, can you shoot this in 10-bit 422? No, they've never said that.
They don't know a damn. They don't know a damn thing about that. Us in the industry will sit there and pixel peep and be our worst critics and be like, oh, we should have this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, what I've come to learn is we're literally just problem solvers, and clients don't really care as long as whatever they're trying to get is accomplished, unless they happen to be in the industry and they've heard some buzzwords, and then all of a sudden they start throwing them at you, and then you sit there and you ask them, what does that mean to you? Like, what do you think that actually means? What value does that bring to you?
They love saying raw, but there was more recently, I forget what word it was, but a client of mine told me, hey, this is like, I'll just say raw. Can you give me the raw files? And I gave him the raw files. I shoot like y'all, I shoot with the A10 Mini Extreme ISO, and that's just for my benefit, so I can have just in case I screw up on the camera switching.
Of course. But
normally, I give my clients my Ecamm Live recording. So my camera connects to the A10 Mini Extreme. I'm recording ISO files via an SSD, and I have my camera the A10 connected to my computer, so Ecamm picks it up like this.
Yeah.
And it's sending a 1080p signal. It records all the camera switching, the program and all that. And I just give my client that video file, which is like 400 or 500 megabytes.
Yeah.
And then my client asked me, hey, can you give me the raw files? Like every camera angle. I said, sure.
They don't know what they're asking for.
They don't know what they're asking. I said, hey, you need to buy a 1 terabyte SSD. I sent them my Amazon affiliate link because I got to get credit for that.
Smart.
I gave them the file because they wanted to edit. And it was, with a A10 Mini Extreme ISO, each camera angle, they had 3. Maybe it's depending on how long the podcast was. I think it was like maybe, I think in total, maybe like a 78 gigabyte project. And they didn't understand what to do with it. And it's like I'm giving it to you.
You asked for this.
What are you gonna do with it? You asked for this, and it's just one of those things where people hear buzzwords.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's interesting to see how clients are becoming more aware of the content creator world, and then understanding that they don't know anything, but they'll try to pretend. I think that's very interesting.
I've speaking about that, like, I've always had like some models say, "Hey, can I get the raw photos?" And I'm really just be tempted, not even give them JPEGs. I just give them the
actual
ARW
raw.
raws and be like, "Here you go."
Yeah, I don't think people know.
Here you go. No, you wanted the raws? This is my raw files.
So I used to like. There was like, I don't know who made up the rule, but there's like a lot of rules in photography, because I got trained with a really dope photographer. Shout out to Jacob Downs, and shout out to Marvin Benemy in South Florida. They both were like, they're phenomenal photographers. They're like my mentors, and they always told me, never give off the raws. Don't ever give the raw files, because that's just a photographer thing.
Yes.
Photographer rule. I just listened, and then one day a client just kept badgering me. Can you give me the raws? I need the raws. I just gave her the raws, and she said, well, is Nikon I was shooting with at the time, so it's NEF files,
okay,
which are like 70 megabytes. 70 megabytes. They're like large files, uncompressed, raw. They didn't know what to do with them. How do I open this? I was like, well, you asked for them. Like, you go. It just, you're just asking for this because somebody told you online or something. Yeah, it's crazy.
They don't. Right. And most of the time, they don't have the software to open the actual raw files.
You don't have the computing power to.
Nor they don't either. It's like you don't understand properly. You don't understand why we charge so much for what we charge. We got to pay for the software. We got to pay for the computers to be able to handle the software. Storage space for storing all this stuff. Like, I just ran out of 10 terabytes of space 2 seconds ago, and I was like, God damn it, I just bought a new one. Now I got to get another NAS to upgrade. Like,
I got one NAS right now that I'm looking at, and I need to definitely get another one.
Yeah,
Lance, what's it, 40?
We have a cold storage NAS. I call it cold storage because it's like 40 terabytes.
Yeah, that's doing 40 terabytes, and I'm already dreading when we have to upgrade that one.
Right, and then we have one that's like 4 terabytes. That's kind of like hot swappable.
Yeah.
That one is a Synology. The other one is a.
Shout out to Synology for holding us down half the time.
QNAP is our cold storage.
Okay,
but the QNAP is slow.
Yeah, it is, but it works.
Yeah.
I have the Synology DS 923 Plus with 16 terabytes, and then I have a Teradeck or Terabyte. I think it's called a Terabyte. It's a brand. It's another company, and it's not a NAS. It's a DAS. So it's like, I guess what you call a cold storage.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's hot swappable. And I have like 64 terabytes in that one. But my Synology NAS I use as everything. Backup for photos. Clients have access to it, because I would normally send my clients a Dropbox link, but that takes time to upload. So I literally just use a 10 gigabit Ethernet, because I have a 10 gigabit Ethernet adapter that I installed on the back of my NAS to upload the photos, upload the videos. Then I send them a private link from my NAS so that they can download it themselves and just be done with it. And then I tell them, hey, it'll be here for like, 60 months, 60 days, or however long you can have access to it. Most of the time I never delete it, but sometimes, like, if I need space, I'm like, man, he had his bar mitzvah like years ago. Delete.
Yeah.
So wait, when you deliver your photos, you send them links to your NAS directly?
Yeah, you have a private link that you can, like, Synology has the feature to send them like a private link. So I just send them that.
The reason I'm asking is because I use PixieSet, and
I use PixieSet too. So here's another thing I should clarify. If I'm just doing a run-of-the-mill photo shoot, this is not like a client that I'm gonna like keep, or this is not a big shoot. I'm using the Synology NAS. We're just taking quick headshots. Here's the link to the photos. If I'm doing a baby shower, if I'm doing like a wedding, if I'm doing like a corporate shoot, I'm using PixieSet. PixieSet is a beautiful thing. So it's like, I don't want to bother creating, because for me with PixieSet, I have like one profile, like one professional account that I pay for. Other times I create like 20 Gmails. I'll have like Gil Dormeus, PixieSet 1, PixieSet 2, PixieSet 25, because I'm just gonna log into this. And then I have on my contacts if I shot with Lance and his family,
Mm-hmm.
I created Pixieset 2025 February, and that's the login. So I could just wait. He was like, "Hey, can I get access to the photos? What's that? What login I used again?" And I'll just go to the contacts. This is all things I've learned from my wife because she's a power iPhone user. She know nobody uses the iPhone better than she does. Nobody, nobody, nobody uses iPhone the way that my wife does. She's so smart. She's great. She's like nobody. Like she's amazing. Um, and she puts like information about whoever the contact is, and I was like, that's brilliant. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that logins or allergy or stuff like that. So then I started implementing that in my own business. So if I do a photo shoot with a client, all right, what did I use? I used the Sony A7C. We did a consultation. Oh, this is the client that I did the studio for. Why she asked me, hey, how do I turn this light on? Oh, wait, what did I do for her? Look in the notes because I use an iPhone. Okay, cool. I did the podcast studio, so that she's referring to a podcast. Or what was the login for the Pixieset? Oh, I used Gil or Sarah 2025. Or I shot her in 2022. It's just stuff like that kind of make not networking, more admin stuff a little bit more easier on me because as you guys know, as a creator, you kind of do everything because
Oh yeah.
clients kind of expect you to have everything down pack. So I try to make sure that my stuff is super organized.
I get around that by using Studio Ninja.
Studio Ninja, what
Yeah.
is that?
It's a software for photographers, and it's what I use for elite capture and stuff like that. So my Pixieset website is right now my portfolio website, but I'm about to turn that into a separate website for portrait work only. But I have a Wix website that I use for my corporate headshot work. So
Oh,
both of those have a contact form from my Studio Ninja that the clients can enter their information, and it could send out contracts, invoices, quotes. I can have notes on the clients as well, that sort of thing.
Mm.
So
okay.
it just keeps me organized as well.
Yeah.
And between that and Pixieset, like I pretty much have almost everything automated. So with Pixieset, I always make sure to have email login turned on, so I capture emails so that I can send out marketing
That's
materials to after the
dope.
fact.
Yeah.
So even if let's say I'm doing whether it's a boudoir shoot or a wedding or a headshot, even just basic headshots, you never know who they send out these headshots to, or the
Mhm.
gallery link, and they log into the gallery as well. So I capture everybody's emails. I got some celebrities that are randomly in there because you never know. Like I used to shoot for like the Knicks and stuff like that. So they got their coaches and players logging in. I'm like, huh, I didn't know they were going. I didn't know they was going to be in here. So like, you never know who's going to be logging in. So I use it as a way to capture their information for future marketing purposes. So that's why I like using Pixieset, even just delivering like even the power shoots with the models. Like I still try to
Mhm.
treat them like high class because not many photographers of my level are delivering with Pixieset to the pictures. They're used to just getting Dropbox links
No,
and
no, no,
Google
no.
Box.
I
That's what they get.
don't use Dropbox for photos. Pixie for me, the wallpaper is my favorite thing. Trying to get the photo, because when I take a photo like a maternity shoot, I'm like, my brain goes, which one's going to be the cover photo for
Yes.
Pixie?
I always
It's
got to
like,
shoot that. I always got to pick that cover photo, man. I'm just like,
yeah,
first
it's
impressions.
Mm.
yes. And then they get on their phone, they're like, what? Oh my gosh. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, my group chat is blowing up with these photos. I'm like, and they're able
Mm-hmm.
to just scroll.
Mm-hmm.
I love Pixie. Pixie is probably like one of the best. Have you ever printed photos with Pixie?
Uh, Personally, no, but I have had clients when I give them the gallery. You know how you can set up the custom stores, so they can actually sit in there and just. Pixieset has that option where they take the photos and they put it on all these displays on all these products that they can order to their house.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
that's cool.
they're the middleman and they handle the printing, the shipping, and everything. So they cut me out of it. So I don't have to worry about it. I just set my prices, and next thing I know, I just get a check.
Okay.
And I'm
Nice.
just like, you know what? I like that because I don't know a damn thing about taking a picture, printing it, and putting it in the frame or anything like that. Let the experts handle
Same.
that.
I had
And
this
for
same.
clients I really like, there is that option where you can take their favorites and give them their own custom app that you can send to their phone, and they install it on their phone so they can quickly access and show off their pictures. So like for bar mitzvahs or weddings and stuff like that, I give them that option. and they love that, being able to just show off their pictures. You got to shout out Pixieset for being able,
Yeah, Pixieset's dope. Hopefully they do an affiliate thing, because that's dope. How long you been doing
Pixieset?
How long you been? Yeah.
Probably almost 5 years now.
Yeah, probably.
The price is going up, but you know what? They did add a lot of features, so I can't even complain too much. Used to be like $70 a year, and I was like $300 and something a year. I'm like, oh my god.
It's the same thing for like me, where like software like Ecamm. Ecamm Live is like a live stream software, and I remember I got the monthly plan, and price was going up. So then I went and got a Black Friday deal that promises to never go up, and it's been 2021. And I've had the same rate, even though the price is crazy high right now, but the software is worth it. I still keep my same rate, and I'm like, that's dope. I use Ecamm for everything, for podcast production. I work with this place called CoSpace, and me and the owner of CoSpace, Joy, we produce 5-minute podcasts. So that's been like a nice bread and butter for me, where we have a small podcast like set up at a conference outdoors at events, and anybody can come up and log in. It's genius, right? So they scan this QR code, a form pops up with their name, they give us their emails, and we tell them, hey, so you're next in line, just wait. And they do a 5-minute podcast to promote their brand or business. Dude, it's amazing. Yeah, you could definitely do that.
We have the space for that. Do we have the technology?
No, but this is at events. So you bring like a table. Yeah, you bring a table, especially at conferences. And the way that you're probably thinking, but Gil, there's like music, there's people chattering. I use CapCut to remove all of the background noise, and it's super dope. As long as there's CapCut Pro. Yeah.
Okay. CapCut Pro. I was like, the regular one definitely don't have that feature. I think Pro does.
No. Yeah.
CapCut Pro does. But also, if you don't have CapCut Pro, you can check out Auphonic, AUPHONC. I use Auphonic for like everything. Like, and it has the ability to do multi-track. So if I have the 5-minute podcast and it's a two host person, like a guest and a host, I'm able to take each of the individual tracks, upload it to Auphonic, and it'll clean it up. Auphonic is, to me, one of the best podcasting tools in a while. I've been using it for a while, ever since 2021.
Lance, what do you know about that?
Yeah. I've heard of those. I'm more of a hardware person. So like for me, because I don't like relying on monthly payments for a lot of stuff. So for something like that, what I would do to replace a lot of that is get different microphones that actually does noise cancellation actively. So either these mics or the Lilliput Ray.
I remember you discussing that before.
Yeah, the Ray mics. I think those are pretty. I mean, they're expensive. Don't get me wrong, but it's a one-time payment.
It's a one-time payment, and if it does it actively in the moment, that's less work for you.
Right. Exactly. So it's like, I like hardware. So for like my setup would be maybe the Rodecaster Duo, since it's 2 people. Hook that up through some stuff like, I use Blackmagic cameras for, these type of things just because of they don't overheat.
Yo, this man just fired shots at us, Gil. He just fired shots at us right now.
I mean, listen, I recently had to do some editing for a client that shot on a bunch of FX3s, and their conversations is like an hour and a half long, and I had to like cover up. Luckily, they shot in multicam setup, and the camera, I was like, wide would go out. This shot would go out. I'm like, what the? It's like,
Listen, you know what it is? They just didn't know that there's those fans that you can get that you can stick on the actual FX3.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm literally looking for that.
You're looking for that?
Yeah, you can stick, and they have making for the A74. Although the A74 is more like you just turn the heat limit to the highest, and then you have the screen pop out.
Jesus
you have to
Christ.
Open the screen. That way it cools down and it doesn't stop.
Lance,
yeah.
You said that they were shooting on FX3s and it overheated?
I'm assuming they overheated because they kept on up.
The camera has a fan, but also it does have a setting for high temp.
Yep.
Like the 874. So it's really just the engineer's fault for not
Yes.
being
It's like they have equipment and they don't know exactly how
right.
to use it.
They have a similar setup to what we got going on here, but
You've seen me shoot for a while with my A7 IV, and I don't have that issue, but I know what to do.
But they're shooting for like 5 hours. This was a very long. They shot for 2 days straight, and I think each time was anywhere from 3 to 5 hours of shooting.
I mean, for something like that, that's when I would be like, "Yo, can we get the budget for a FS5 or something like that, or a 7, or one of them big boys with the built-in NDs?"
Yeah. And I just think that they had decent equipment, but not, when I'm not gonna go over the whole microphone issue, but but that's just how I would go ahead and like solve for that sort of thing. And most likely I would probably use an app for the sign up part of it, where it's like, hey, it's kind of like an appointment type of thing, where it's like, all right, and then we all get that notification on our phones or whatever. And that's kind of like, because I'm more about like small footprint sort of thing, but it's like, but an app makes a lot of sense. So it's like, if it works great for whatever you do and stuff, like, especially like for you, Gil, like you it's only you, like, right, you're like your one man band sort of thing. Whereas like
people suck.
Yeah.
People in Florida suck. People, there's like not too many creatives here who have a lot of discipline and like the creative arts.
That sucks.
More people, the discipline that a lot of people have are just vibing and hanging. And then when I say discipline, I mean like studying and passions. Like obviously your discipline is in photography, videography, and obviously computer networking and all that stuff. Like I could talk about whatever problem and y'all have the solution right away. Like we were thinking about the fan, we were thinking about the high temperature temp. Like people are creators. And there's a lot of creators here, but they're mostly like, I'm just going to learn how to make TikTok videos with my iPhone and be a master at it. But when it comes to, when you give them an FX3 or an Osmo Pocket, they don't necessarily know how to work it.
They don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing. And the thing is, it's like, I grew up learning things and drawing, learning what's the best pens, learning what's the best markers, learning, mangas, different papers, learning that, hey, there's art to this. Skateboards, you got to buy the best deck. Here's how to set up the wheels, how to torque it, all of that. Even, mechanics is like, here, buy this wrench from Milwaukee, whatever the case is, try these out. And a lot of creators now are just fake it till they make it. They're going to buy this expensive FX3 camera and it's going to overheat. They're going to spend $60 or $3,400 on these lenses, not necessarily know how to use it. And it's just frustrating. That
it's like they had the budget to do all of this.
They have the amazing budget, but they don't
the knowledge for this.
Yeah.
And they won't pay someone to do it either.
No, they will not.
And they won't pay. And my whole thing is, and a lot of people would say, well, these creators are like making way more money, but it's like, I'd rather like enjoy these tools. I love, like right now I'm using my Elgato prompter to look at y'all, and it's being held by my camera. I have my CalDigit, I have my SD card, I have my monitor over here. Everything runs smoothly. Like I can literally I have a shoot after this. I know exactly what I'm gonna do when I leave. My brain is not, I got to figure out what's going on. Like it's so crazy seeing these creators, which I love these creators on Threads, these these beautiful women, beautiful men, young people with their Osmo Pockets. But it's like,
that Pocket 3 is so powerful.
It's so powerful.
It's
so powerful. But then it's like, I don't know, don't want to judge, but I can tell when someone doesn't know what they're talking about. It's irritating. What's y'all take on that? I don't hate, but it's just honestly, one of those things like, ugh.
I always feel like I don't even know what the heck I'm talking about. I always have to have other people tell me, like, obviously, bro, you do know what you're talking about because you study this thing in your off time. Like, I realized this, like, photography and videography is one of those things. I will sit there and go on YouTube and just watch other creators and like learn from the greats, like Gerald Undone, Peter McGinnon, Manny Ortiz. I'm talking Potato Jet. Like all these people that sit there and all these reviews and you learn knowledge. I was sit there.
Boy, man. You missed my boy, man. You forgot my boy.
Who?
Tom Buck.
Who's Tom Buck?
You gotta look him up.
Yo, that look right there. It was such a disappointment.
I've heard of
I was
Tom
like,
Buck, yeah.
That's such a disappointment.
End interview.
End
interview.
I need to.
You've seen it. If you looked up any roadcaster or podcasting videos, you've seen his videos.
Oh, no, okay. So when it comes to roadcasts and stuff like that, that's Lance's territory.
Yeah, that's why I heard about Tom.
Yeah.
Buck,
So
like,
I don't deal with the ATEMs and the roadcasters. Man, I'll leave that for him.
Yeah.
I ain't gotta worry about that.
That's like a whole other.
I stick to photography, videography, and drones.
Yeah.
So that's my thing over there. And of course, like lighting and posing. So like I'll know those people. But when it comes to the roadcasters,
Manny's the goat. Manny's the goat for lighting and posing. I've been watching him for years.
Yeah.
You remember Kabisa? I forget her first name. She's also a creator. Something. I forget her name.
No, but
yeah, there's like.
You remind me of Peter Lindgren. Peter Lindgren.
Peter Lindgren is great.
Yeah, I love. Oh man, he put me onto the Sony A7 IV and editing and log and stuff like that. And this one particular plugin that he uses for color grading, Cinema something. I forgot what it was.
Motion VFX.
Huh? Yeah, because I started off in college for VFX and motion graphics. So like looking at his work was great, and his editing style and how he did his studio and stuff. That was a real big inspiration for me.
I got this 16 millimeter lens because of Peter Lindgren. It's the Zeiss 1635 f4 like years ago because of him. And I'm like shooting on an A7 III. I was like, I gotta get that camera. Never got the A7 III, but I did get the Sony A7S II at the time. It was great. That was like 2011 or 2014. I don't remember, something like that. But now I got the A7 IV. It's great. A7C. Got two of those. Fantastic. I really love shooting Sony for video. To me it's the best because it just makes things easier.
Yeah.
Connecting things. Also the USB C streaming. That way I could just connect to my computer anytime. It's great. A7 IV. I never have any issues with it. It's one of the best hybrid cameras ever.
Yep.
It just works. It's just a workhorse.
Yo, shout out to Manny Ortiz because Manny Ortiz is the one who actually put me onto the Sony system because I started off shooting Canon with a Rebel T7, and I was over there doing work with my little 85 millimeter trying to get some paid shoots off of that joint, and then I started watching him and he was talking about I think he was switching to Sony or he shot Sony. I don't remember what the case, but. Yeah. Because of him, I ended up getting my first Sony camera. It was the A6500 crop sensor. And I still got that bad boy in there.
That was crazy.
And then somebody on Facebook, my mentor, I was like, yo, somebody's selling the A7 III for like $1,800. At the time, it was $2,400. They were selling their A7 III for $1,800 because they shot with it a couple of times. And then they said, you know what? I'd rather go back to Canon. So they had they threw a lens in there and stuff like that. My mentor was like, yo, grab that camera. You will never regret it. I grabbed that camera. Yeah. That camera's still sitting right there as my backup body. So, no, shout out to Sony, bro. They make hybrid shooting so much easier.
I'm
familiar with Becky and Chris?
Huh?
Sorry. You familiar with Becky and Chris?
Who that? No.
They're YouTubers. They're the one who pushed me into Sony. So, like I said, I was shooting mostly Nikon, and I loved it was Becky and Chris, toss up between Becky and Chris and Tom Buck. I was more so leaning toward Becky and Chris because they were shooting with the camera that I had access to, which was the Sony A7S II. And they were shooting with that. And I was like, I like their video quality. So I think I'm going to get a Sony camera. Then I seen a bunch of YouTubers moving, like Manny Ortiz, moving over to Sony because it's easier, Potato Jet. Then I was waiting for the GOAT, Peter McKinnon, but he's a Canon for life.
He is Canon
so that
for
never
life.
happened. Yeah.
But
Did
you know
he change
what?
his name to last name to Cannon?
I wouldn't be surprised. It'd be funny as hell though.
No, but I'm what I was trying to say earlier. I'm surprised Sony hasn't entered the video switching world. They just kind of
maybe they're just sticking to what they know.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there's even even so, as a comparison, right, when it comes to podcasts, like the biggest podcaster in the world is Joe Rogan, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people don't know he's using PTZ cameras.
This podcast is the biggest podcast in the world.
Hmm?
He said this podcast is the biggest podcast.
Well, that would be nice.
When we get a $100 million contract, like some people, then I'll know.
But it's like, just like I've said, like it's like as a comparison. So Sony do make PTZ cameras as well, but if you look at the prices for those things, those are stuff you use on movie sets.
Yeah.
It's like $30,000 just for the body, like and that's something you put on a crane, and it can do everything. But it's like, whereas a bunch of other companies, it's like I would say only 2 other companies that's like entered into the market of like what say Blackmagic does with the ATEMs. That's Rode and Teradek. But Teradek has been in that they've been in the game for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They do stuff for broadcast.
Yeah.
So it's like if you go into one of them big broadcast space, it's gonna be Teradeks. It's gonna be everywhere just because that's just what they do and everything like that has been working. But they're not for your consumer level stuff. Even though Blackmagic has comparable equipment like it, but they've made it more easy for the regular consumer to get into. And then Rode now has entered the chat with their Videocaster, which I think and they solve a lot of stuff for that particular entry. And when I say entry, I'm talking $1,200, $1,500. That's entry.
That is entry.
But whereas Blackmagic has one for $300. You get a $300 one, and all this other stuff. We have a video up on. I was telling people like this is probably the best, like the secret. It's like a stealth gaming capture card, like because you could do a lot, but that's like a whole other discussion to like figure out how to make that up and running. I'm pretty much doing that now at my home. For my live streams, the video game live streams and whatnot, whenever, which I'm probably just going to be streaming maybe once a week.
Hey, listen, we all got to start somewhere. Because even if it's just once a week, you got to do it, right?
Right. I'm not a big streamer in that sense or anything like that. But part of what I do, like you guys said, it's like you want to mess around with the equipment and like, enjoy those things. That's what I do. That's like my prowess is like, technically, like it's like I figure out ways to like, okay, let's get the hardware to do exactly what the software can do, but better.
Yeah.
And that way it's like, and it does cost more money, but it's a one-time cost. But that means you can also charge your people.
You can actually recoup that investment.
Right. Be like, well, I'm gonna need this amount of money. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, because this is how much money I put into the equipment to like make that work and stuff like that.
Here's the invoice. Here's exactly what we're paying. They're gonna be like dollar signs.
Yeah. And trust me, like any broadcast studio stuff out there, whatnot, they're using very old stuff because it still works.
I was like, because it works.
Because it still works, and it's like whereas you could do stuff software wise and stuff like that. Even what we're doing here, we were trying to set up more stuff in a hardware way to get this up and running. Didn't quite work out, so we have to stick with software. Software is kind of, I can see glitching a little bit, but the good part is Gil is recording locally. So he'd send that, and we can just replace that file. So you see, these are like things people don't really think about. It's like, well, if I'm going to record this stuff, I can't rely on software to do everything. It's like you have to kind of like, thankfully to get, for him, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to get this stuff done, and he knows how to send me that file later.
Yeah.
So it's like it works.
In the file.
Yeah.
Do I email it? Do I just email you the video?
Yeah, whichever. Link.
Just send the videos in attachment.
Send me the raw.
Send me the raw file.
No, just it's like just email it to me and boom, we get like this all replaced and stuff like that.
Well, I just realized exactly that we actually went way over.
We're over time.
Oh, yeah.
So Gil, it was great talking to you. Do me a favor. How can people reach out if they want to hire you in Florida?
Yeah, just check me out on Instagram. At GUIL.DORMEUS. You can hit me up. We can set up a free 20-minute call where I can kind of see if I could help you with your podcast endeavors. I build podcast studios. I do consulting. So if you want to figure out how to do that idea that you're trying to do that's in your head for weeks, I can help expedite that for you, make it easier. You can also see all the equipment that I'm using for this video. You can go to gildormeus.com/list. That's GuilDormeus.com/list to see all the equipment that I'm using and to see how I made it possible and all that. So yeah, that's where you could find me.
And what if they want to hire you for photography work?
Oh, if they want to hire me for photography work, you can go to GilDormeus.com and book me there. Or again, just go to my Instagram, which is super easy. That way you can kind of like see my personality. Because I think with photography or just any work in general, you're hiring somebody, but you also want to hire somebody you could potentially talk to or like.
Yes.
You don't want to hire a mean person. So you can check out my website. That's GilDormeus.com. You see all my work there. Or go to GilDormeus.com/photos. You can see a bevy of my photo work. I've taken photos, portrait, family photos, celebrity photos, all that.
All right, cool. Nice. And Lance, people want to work with us, or even they want to come on the show, where can they find us?
Well, you can find ISO Insiders pretty much wherever podcasts are served. So that means Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, I guess, but I don't think they exist anymore. It's like, but you can find us on YouTube as well. I just look for ISO Insiders or ISO Insiders, and you should be able to find us there. We do have an email. It's just isoinsiders@gmail.com.
Hey, we'll get to the domain at some point.
Yeah.
It's on the to-do list.
It's there.
And by the way, everything that Gil said that he does down there in Florida, we do here in the tri-state area. So if you want to find us.
I will travel too. So
we do travel. Gifted Media Productions is where we're at. I mean, I have my own individual page too for photography and stuff like that, but we can all list that later. But just this is for the show where we just like to sit around and talk technology in our giant man cave, as our wives call it.
Yes.
So Gil, thank you so much for coming and dropping knowledge bombs on us. Like, you're a pleasure to talk to. We definitely have to have you on the show. Sure. If you're ever in the tri-state area, you are more than welcome to come by and sit, chill, shoot with us, and have in person here where we don't have to worry about Zoom.
Yeah.
Because seriously, that was enough.
All
right, man. So looking forward to talking to you again in the future.
All right,
everybody.
Thank you for having me.
Peace.
Right. Peace.
Bye.